Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, it's your girl Rayshad Day. And if you are a subscriber and you are back, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the like button. And I got something for y'all today. So we are going to be getting into a quick glam session. I want to just show you guys how I do my makeup before I start my day. And I'm going to actually give you guys the names of the favorite Ulta products that I'm going to be using today. So if you see me looking over to the side, I'm looking at my notes just so I can give y'all the perfect names for the products, just in case you want to go buy, and I will have a link at the bottom. And so today, as I do my makeup with you guys, I am going to talk about feminine energy. So we're talking about feminine energy, self-worth, and what happens when women betray themselves for love. And so Ari Fletcher and Arionne are our case studies for today. So let's get into it, you guys. All right. So let's just talk about what feminine energy is. But before we do that, let's get into this peach slice snail rescue, and it has 70% snail mucin concentrate. And I hear that that's what the people in Korea use for like the Korean skincare. So I just put a little dab of this on. And once again, this is an Ulta product. So I like to pat. I don't know about y'all, but I watch Kim Kardashian. Don't judge me, but I used to love watching the Kardashians, and Kim said that you have to pat. And listen, one thing I'm gonna listen to when it comes to beauty is Kardashians, okay? Because they've been on the scene for a long time. They're not as, popping as they once were, but one thing about it, they know how to keep a beauty trend going. So I'll listen to that at least. But yes, that is the eye gel that I have been using from Ulta. So I like to just start off with the good little eye gel. And then I have this sleeping mask by, I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Lineage. And it's like a little sleeping mask. It's kind of like a pink tint. It's cute. All right, y'all. So I got the bases. I'm going to let this dry a little bit. But we're going to get into what feminine energy is. So to me, feminine energy is about receiving. That's first things first. You're receiving if you are in your feminine energy. That's number one. You are receiving. You're getting things from your person. You are not in a space of lack. And when you are receiving, you are able to be soft and live in your softness. So I think that when you are able to receive and live in your softness, that's when a woman exudes that magnetism. And so what I'm using right now is the Milk brand, and it is the Hydro Grip Primer. Also Ulta product. Everything that I'm using right now is from Ulta. But feminine energy is when you are able to exude those qualities, and then that comes into play with your self-worth and how you feel about yourself, and that will be the basis of feminine energy. Now, of course, there is a dictionary definition and you can always go look that up, but that is the basis of what feminine energy is. And I truly think that there's a difference between embodying feminine energy for self and weaponizing it to please a man. All right, y'all. So I'm not a big foundation wearer. So I use the Anastasia. Now, this is not at Ulta. This is at Sephora. Sorry, y'all. I said everything was from Ulta. It is not. I have a few things from Sephora. But we have the Anastasia. I believe this is like the tint. And I have the number 12. And I have the number 13. It works pretty good. So I'm just going to put this on. And I just kind of a few little swipes and we call it a day. But I do think there's a big difference between embodying feminine energy for self and weaponizing it to please a man. And I think that is somewhat of what Ari is doing. And Ari is going to be case study number 1. Okay. Case study number 1. So you guys, I like to use a little bit of my Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray by, I think this is Caroline Tilby, I think. Ooh, I believe this is what it's called. But you see it. I like to spray my brush with that setting spray. I do not remember where I got this brush from. I've had this brush for a long time. So I just like to dab it. But I think that Ari is not embodying her feminine energy for herself. She's embodying it at this moment. She's embodying it to weaponize and keep her man. So I seen a video where her and Moneybagg Yo were going to have dinner for his birthday. Big Virgo. Shout out to the Virgos. Your season is almost over. It's almost, I think Libras are next. But Virgos, anyone know a Virgo? Drop in the chat. Let me know if you're a Virgo. Throw up the Virgos. Put your date. All that good stuff. I love Virgos. My father is a Virgo, and Virgos are actually my sister sign. So I think that it's very interesting that she has her Virgo man, and that Virgo man is a rich man. And it seems as if she's doing things because she wants to please him. And there's nothing wrong with pleasing your man. But at what cost, right? So I am also going to go into do my eyebrows, and I like to laminate them. So this is the Morphe Micromanager Gripping Brow Gel. So I don't know. I just think that Ari is doing things just to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I got to keep this man because he's cheated on me before. So in order to keep him and do what I need to do to stay in his good graces, I'm going to do whatever he wants me to do. So, I mean, hey, I like girls. So why not have a threesome? So I seen a video where she was saying, you know, that we're going to have a good threesome tonight. And he started to smile. And then she was like, that's why I'm irritated, because you didn't start smiling until I mentioned that threesome. And that right there just showed me that she's not doing it strictly for herself. She is doing that to please her man. And ultimately, even if you do like girls, you're dating a man, you like men, and it's no shade to bisexual people or the LGBTQ community. I love you guys. I love my gay homosexual friends. Can I say homosexual? I mean heterosexual, homosexual, same thing. Different but same term. You guys get what I'm saying, okay? But I feel like when you start to do things for that guy, I don't know. I think that it just becomes a betrayal of yourself. Because ultimately, if you could have it your way, if he said he didn't want any threesomes and that was just that, you would be happy. Like, okay, I don't have to overly perform. But ultimately, feminine energy is about being and not begging. And I feel like when you are having threesomes just to keep your man intact, and you guys, I think the lamination is somewhat of a wet serum and it gets a little hard. It kind of hardens your eyebrows. So this is why I'm kind of doing a little pat, a little fanning. But I think that women, a lot of the times, we betray ourselves trying to please a man, please our man. So I think that is a huge part of their relationship. And I think a lot of the times women are just doing things because they want that man to stay around, and to keep that man, I gotta do what he want me to do. And so I think that is where we lose ourselves. We betray, and that's gonna be the basis of this video is the betrayal of yourself. Being in your feminine energy, when you are exuding your feminine energy and you're in your feminine power, you are not betraying yourself. And so when you're in a relationship with a man, whether it be a high value man, a broke man, no matter what, they're going to be lustful. I'm not going to say all men are cheaters and all men, because I don't believe that, but I do feel that a man is as faithful as his options. And if most men had the option to cheat and not get caught, they would. So I feel like ultimately when you betray yourself for a man who is going to do what he wants to do anyway, it's the ultimate betrayal. And that's why you have to step into your feminine power and love yourself before you love anyone else. And it's so important for us women, especially Black women, to get into that narrative and stop allowing men, whoever, to coerce us into, and I don't even like to really say coerce because it kind of gives like, that type of vibe. But I feel like we definitely have to get a grip and understand that we have the power. We have the power, okay? So, case study number 2. Now, this is the one that I've really been wanting to talk about. And now we're going to get into the next step. So I feel like at this point, the primer and the lamination for the eyebrows is pretty dry. So I like to go over it with my e.l.f. brow gel brush, just to give it a little darker tint, because I don't have the darkest eyebrows. They're pretty full, but they're not that dark. So we're just gonna go over it just a little bit. I just want to give it a little definition, not too much, but you see it. So with Arionne Curry, if you are into the Love and Marriage Huntsville saga where it all began, it was based upon Arionne, Martell Holt, and Martell Holt's ex-wife. We all know that Melody Cherie was pretty much the beginning of Love and Marriage franchises just in general. You know what I mean? I believe she was the start. And I think Carlos King just blew it to another level, but I believe she was the beginning. But anyways, we have Arionne Curry, who, this is not a video to bash her or Ari Fletcher. I'm not bashing these ladies. I'm just giving my simple opinion on what I feel they are doing in the sense of their feminine energy and how they're not exuding it correctly. So I definitely feel that Arionne Curry is a lot of women. There's a lot of women out there. So now, guys, I'm done with my eyebrows. I'm going to go over the line of my eyebrow just a little bit with a little pro concealer. And this is Warm Honey. So Arionne is just, and this is a MAC brush that I'm going to use to just, put on my eyebrow a little bit to make it look really clean. But I believe that Arionne is a lot of women. A lot of women have dealt with married men, have gotten pregnant by married men, and have had babies by married men, and are in a chokehold because of a married man. And there are a lot of women, I think I'm just going to use it like this. There are a lot of women out there that can relate to her. So I don't know if any of you really watch Love and Marriage Huntsville, but there was a moment when she used to crash out on live and go crazy because, Martell was on the show with his ex-wife and he was calling her peasants and 15% and all types of stuff, just absolutely disrespecting her in every way possible by being in a covenant with another woman while getting her pregnant and so forth and so on. We know the story. It's not any different from a lot of these men out here that are cheating on their wives and getting their paramour, their mistress, pregnant multiple times throughout the marriage, the situationship that he had with her and whatever. But she is a lot of women. So a lot of women, I feel like, she's popular and she has this hold because there's a lot of women out there that resonate to her. There's a lot of women out there who get where she's coming from because there's a lot of side chicks. So I would say that Arionne is one of those people who she just, she was just recently on live saying how Martell Holt is a prize. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but last time I checked, Martell ruined his 14-year marriage with his beautiful wife and 4 children to play stepdaddy to her daughter and impregnate her multiple times while stealing money from his ex-wife, right? But he's the prize. We have women saying things like that to a man who doesn't deserve to hear any of those things because he's not a prize. Not to say that Martell is just the worst of all things, but if it quacks like a duck, it just might be a duck. So I like to go in with my Pro Concealer. Now, I don't really have like bags or anything like that, but I do like to make my look as airbrush as possible. And I really think when you have a color corrector that it works really good. So color correctors are good, but you also have to know your tone. I believe I'm more of a yellow tone. There's red undertones, and I don't think I'm as red because I used a red color corrector and it just looked crazy on me. So you have to know your undertones. So this works best for me. So you gotta play around with it a little bit. So just a little bit, but yeah, she was on live saying how Martell is a prize and how he is just, her man. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with her loving on him at this point. It is what it is. But ultimately, we all know that she went to court with him. And there was a picture that came out and everybody was calling her a big back. And I didn't see the big backery, but she had a couple rows on the side. It was a couple rows. But all in all, I don't like to body shame other women, but one would say she was calling people big backs and linebackers. So, but I truly like to go in with my finger. I could go in with the brush, but the finger just does it for me. And I typically like to spray my setting spray throughout, and I really haven't been doing that because I'm a little low and I'm kind of being a little money conscious right now. Not even really money conscious, but products are just so expensive. So you pat this in as much as you can, and I low-key think I might have put too much on, but whatever. But, we all know that she was on live, and I really think she wants to be on live and show that she has somewhat of a decent relationship with his children because, let Melody tell it. The kids, well, one of her daughter wants Melody to be her mama. And I wouldn't put that past her. You can't tell me that a woman who puts so much energy into a man has time to be an amazing mom. You just can't tell me that. You don't have time to be an amazing mom when you're on live crashing out, when you are always worried about another woman and a man that wasn't yours and only yours for years, and he's finally only yours, supposedly. And, you just can't tell me that you have the energy to be this grand mom. I'm just not buying it. So, with Arionne, I believe where she betrayed her own feminine essence is in the pursuit of love with Martell Holt. Simple as that. Ruined years of your youth in the pursuit of love of a man who doesn't truly love you. And I won't say that he doesn't have love for her, because that's the mother of his child. But I don't think that he is genuine. I think everything Martell does is at a price. I feel like his moneymaker is gone now, so he has to do what he has to do. And that's when you have to have your feminine energy in check. That's when that intuition is supposed to tap in. And that's how I know she's not tapped into her feminine energy, because if she was, she would never allow the things that is transpiring happen. So I truly believe that Arionne is not as slow as we like to think she is. I believe she knows very much so what's happening and that she is possibly being used. But you can't tell nobody nothing. Okay, so we're going to go in with our NARS. And this is the medium deep. It's biscuit, I think it is. Yes, biscuit. And so I don't know how I feel about NARS. This is also an Ulta product, I believe. Yes, I'm not sure how I feel about NARS. I honestly think I might like Pro Concealer better, but it's cool. And I like Tarte. I don't have Tarte right now, but I like Tarte as well. But yeah, intuition would tell her that, you know, I'm being used. But maybe she likes being used. Maybe she says it's to her benefit, so use me up. And I like to put my concealer very close to my nose bridge, because we're gonna do a little bit of contour, okay? I love a good contour, and I really want to do contour and contour it up just for the sake of this video and make it look kind of good. So, okay. So yes, like I was saying, where Arionne betrayed herself within her own feminine essence is literally taking from her children, because you're taking from your kids. You can't tell me that you're not. Okay, so we have this setting spray. We're gonna spray. So I truly think, and I let it dry a little bit, and then I go in with a little brushy brush that I also will spray just a little bit. So I do think that Arionne continuously betrays herself. I think she knows that she is betraying herself, but she believes that the cost for leaving is not as grand as the cost for staying. The cost for staying is her going through nursing school. The cost for staying is her going to nursing school for free, her driving a car for free, her living in a home for free. That's the cost of staying. But it's the cost of your daughter losing respect for you. It's the cost of your son not having respect for women because his mother took any and everything from his dad. It's at the cost of you just not having your own, because let Melody tell it, when he gets mad at you, he takes your car from you. So I like to go in and just, you know, and honestly, I do like to really use my finger when I can, but we're going to use the brush today. But yeah, it's all at a cost. And so I think that we as women have to realize, okay, is this worth it? And y'all, I'm a person that likes to go from eye to eye interchangeably. So I don't like it to get too dry on this side before I start working it. So yeah, that's kind of how I do it. And I know we all have our own little quirks that we do when we're doing our makeup, but that's one of mine. And I just think that Arionne is too beautiful of a girl, really. And like I said, this is not a video to bash her or Ari. It's just honestly an observation of women having so much feminine energy, but not truly living in their feminine energy, allowing a man to get the best of them. I like to go in with my sponge and just kind of work the concealer, break it up a little bit because it's looking a little blocky and blotchy. So I sprayed some of my setting spray on my sponge, and we're going to do it again. And I go in and work it and even it out. And I think in the case study of Arionne, I think the key lesson is when feminine energy is tied to a man's attention, because we all know that it's the attention of Martell that she's seeking, his validation and what he says and what he wants, it becomes a performance and it's not power at all. Like, okay, yeah, you have a man putting you through school. You have a man that's doing all these things for you, putting you in a house, giving you a car. You don't have to work. You were saying and boasting on live that you haven't worked in 5 years. And even when you had a job, he was up at the job stalking you and wanting to be in your skin. So you say, so, you know, is it all worth it? Is the attention of Martell worth not having your own? Is it worth having someone control you? You know, I just feel like I said, the key lesson is when feminine energy is tied to a man's attention and validation, it becomes performative and it is no longer power. And you have to walk in power. So stop performing for these men. Perform for yourself. Yeah, I said it. Perform for yourself. And I don't know about y'all, but I have been using the Sacred products. I actually think it's been working pretty good. I've been using the Restoring Edge Serum, and I did not realize that it was a water-based serum, so I really think it's working. I have like a little spot right here, and it's going away. But okay, so I got my setting spray. I put on my concealer, and so it's not looking so blotchy. Okay, so I like to go in and do a little bit of blush. And so I have the e.l.f. blush, and it's like the putty blush. And I believe this is a MAC brush, y'all. I've had these brushes for so long, but it's a MAC brush, but it's one of those powder brushes to put your concealer on or your blush. So I just like to go in. I'm a blush girl, okay? So please excuse me, but it's gonna be a lot of blush. So all in all, I really, truly, genuinely believe that, you know, Arionne would love to have her own and be her own boss. You know, I seen on the live that she was saying how he doesn't want her to be an overnight nurse. He also does not want her to travel. So basically, it sounds like she's going to school for nursing for no reason. Because Martell doesn't want her to cheat on him like he was dog walking his ex-wife. But that's your prize of a man. One that wants to control you because he knows he can't control his lustful ways. So that right there is the prime example of just like staying in your power and not allowing someone to get you to a place where you are depending on them and depending on them only. You know, I think her and Ari have similar cases. I believe, you know, Ari was in a space where she was with her baby daddy, G Herbo, and G Herbo was the breadwinner. He was the one that was providing for her and giving her the things. And so she felt obligated to do certain things because of this man. So it just gets to a point where you have to choose yourself. Ultimately, it's choosing you. if you are in a relationship with someone who isn't doing what you need them to do, you have to choose yourself. You have to stop betraying yourself and telling yourself, well, because it's always those wells that get you into that position to betray yourself. Those excuses that you give other people, because you're not giving yourself any excuses, but you're giving everybody else an excuse. And so I have a Morphe palette. I got this Morphe palette so long ago. I really don't even know, but it's a lot of warm colors. You can see clearly I like this one right here. But yeah. So we're going to go in with a little bit of eyeshadow and we're going to keep it real cute and neutral. But I think I kind of want like a baby doll, pink, glamour type of look. So I think I'm going to use the Bomb Ass down here. I'm sorry. Bomb Ass. And then we got Lolly. And then we might do a little something else. But we're gonna do a little Barbie doll look today because I got the blush and I'm probably gonna put more blush on. I am a blush girl, y'all. Like, I love some blush. Okay? Love me some blush. So we're gonna go back in. And I don't know if you guys see Mana Leo and how she puts the blush on the tip of her nose. I absolutely love that look. So that's the look that we're going for today, like very baby doll glam look. And just for lighting purposes, I want to add a little more. Okay. All right, so we got the putty blush on, and I'm sorry, y'all, I don't know the color. I've had this for so long, but it's pink. Obviously pink. So yeah, y'all, I really think that Arionne is living proof of why and how self-betrayal always backfires. And I wanna dig into that. But self-betrayal always backfires. Clock it. It always backfires. So you have to be careful. Be careful. Be careful. So I think that Arionne's self-betrayal, and the same with Ari, I think their self-betrayal is doing things that you don't necessarily want to do and feeling like you have to do those things in order to keep that man, in order to be happy with that man, in order to not have to be competing and comparing. I feel like they betray themselves just to have a spot. And it's not fair for Arionne, it's not fair to her daughter. It's not fair to the children. It's one of those situations where you put yourself in such a compromising position where you have no other choice but to conform. And I feel like that's what Arionne is doing right now. She just has no other choice but to conform. Like, what else can you do? You have drugged yourself and allowed this man to drag you into the mud. And honestly, y'all, sometimes you should put depending on what type of shadow you're doing, put your shadow on first before you put your face makeup on, because the foundation that you put on or the tint that you put on is going to be like super glittery, or your concealer is going to be messed up because the dust from the shadow falls down a little bit. So just be careful. So I'm putting on a little base. I love like the one that I said, I think it's called On Camera. This one. I love this one and I use it as my base. Once again, this is a Morphe palette. And I honestly think I got these brushes from Ulta. So us women, we have to stop betraying ourselves just to have a man. Like, it's getting to a point, y'all. It's getting to a point. You have to choose yourself. So That's why I always tell women, if it gets you to a point where you feel like you're compromising your self-worth, you're compromising who you are as a person, as an individual, a human being, if you feel like you're not moving forward, and that's the biggest thing, is to feel stagnant in life. And I feel like a lot of the times women are stagnant in these situations. Like, let's be real. What has Arionne truly done? You see his ex-wife traveling the world. She was just in freaking Paris the other day. Like, she's in Paris while you guys are on live and in court trying to antagonize her for sleeping with her security guard. And honestly, she probably is sleeping with him. He fine. You're probably right. She probably is sleeping with the man. But ultimately, when you are not in your feminine energy, you're worried about another woman's vagina. So I am going to go in with the bomb ass, or I'm going in with the bomb ass, and just, giving it a little definition, okay? So ultimately, these women, we think they're winning, but what exactly are they winning? Winning a few threesomes with the love of their life, okay. Getting put through nursing school only to be told that you can't work at night and you cannot travel. Okay, then what is she gonna do? Having to be told what to do and how to do it, having to feel like you have to please this man in order for him to stay with you and stay down with you through thick and thin. And what's up with y'all calling people y'all husband and they not really y'all husband? Now, it's no shade, no tea. But why is Ari calling Moneybag her husband? Is that really her husband? I ain't really into giving. That's another thing. Don't give these boyfriends these titles unless they really put in a ring on it. Is this your husband for real, sis? Is it? Maybe it is, though. I don't know. Like I said, it's no shade, no tea. No shade, no tea. No shade, no tea. So now after I put on the shadow, I'm going to go in with the mugshot color just to, add a little brown tint to the top. All right, y'all. So the shadow is done for the most part. I'll probably go in and make a little more cuts and changes, but this is coming to the end stages. So we're going to go ahead and go back in with the setting spray. All right, so I just put on my setting spray and I'm letting it set a little bit, because remember, you put it on setting spray, let it set, let it set. So first of all, I went into how I believe self-betrayal always backfires. In essence, Arionne Curry is the prime case study for you having your self-worth and thinking that you are bigger and better than the program, and it completely backfiring, because I know she's not happy. I know she's miserable, because she's not exuding her feminine energy the way that she should. And here are 3 coaching principles for women like Arionne Curry, and just for women in general who need to be reminded, because this is not a perfect world over here. Like I said, this is no judgment zone, but it's just the facts. Boundaries are the real glow up. And that's just the bottom line. That's number 1. Boundaries are the real glow up. When you are able to tell someone no without an explanation, because those are your non-negotiables and those are your boundaries, that's when you have bossed up your feminine energy and you are beginning to win and understand what it is to be a powerful woman. Second principle: femininity without self-worth is just a costume, like we were talking about earlier with things being performative. We don't want to perform. We want to be in our authentic self. We want to stay in our truth. We want to be our true selves at all times. So we're going to go in with the Stila. This mascara is given soft, flirty energy. And notice how I use it to enhance me. Not for male validation, for me. Because feminine energy is also ritual. It's literally even something so small as to just putting on lip gloss. That shifts perspective. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into it. So we were going into, okay. First things first, we're going to go ahead and put this Stila mascara on. I absolutely love it. But we're going to go back into the 2 to 3 principles that I'm giving you. The 3 principles that I'm giving you on feminine energy. So the first one was boundaries are the real glow up. Secondly is femininity without self-worth is just performative. And that's just facts. And third, true power attracts without force. Once again, true power attracts without force. You don't have to force a man to behave. You have the power to make him do exactly what you want him to do without having to betray yourself and your self-worth. And y'all, I have to concentrate when I put my mascara to the test. As a matter of fact, I need a little assistance. So like I said, this is the Stila mascara. I actually like this mascara because it's waterproof and it does not, like when I am having one of those moments where I'm sleeping and I sleep with my makeup on accident. And please don't ever do that because I learned that there are dust mites that are just sitting on our face when we do that. So no sleeping with makeup on. But anyways, I don't have raccoon eyes when I wake up in the morning after wearing this mascara. So I do like that aspect of it. And it makes the lashes pop a little bit, if you can tell. But yes, those are the 3 boundaries that I would say that all women need to live by if they don't want to betray themselves, if they want to be magnetizing, they want to listen to their own intuition, they want to know their self-worth, they want to be in that space of power. You have power when you are holding your boundaries true and they're non-negotiables for you and everybody else around you. You are so deep into your power when your femininity is not tied to being a performer for a man. It's tied to you being authentic to yourself. You are true in your feminine power when you attract without having to force, and that's a part of receiving. As a feminine woman, I don't have to force it. It falls in my lap. Now I'm being very, extra about that, but we can make it literal. I like to go over with my mascara brush a couple times. So this is the second time I'm going over it. And matter of fact, I'm a little extra, y'all. I'm going to go over it with my Fantasize mascara because this makes it look very like elongated. And I think it might be the brush, but it gives a very elongated look. I have my mascara on and now I'm gonna go in with my brush and I just want to set my makeup a little better because I feel like the concealer, the blush, and everything just needs to be blended a little better. So we just blend it up a little bit. Gotta get that neck. And then now that we have our eyes done, we got our brows done, we have our concealer and everything else on, we're gonna go in with the Maybelline Fit Me powder. And this is a loose finishing powder. It's the number 20 light medium. And this is actually my favorite powder that I use. You can get this probably from a drugstore, but I also can get it from Ulta too. So I also use my little triangular pad that I use. It's like a dusting pad, I guess you want to call it. I just want to tie in everything that I just spoke about, you know, with Arionne Fletcher, with Arionne Curry and Ari Fletcher, and how, you know, even myself, I've fallen short in betraying myself and thinking that I had the answers and thinking that I could weaponize my femininity to keep a man by doing things that I wouldn't normally do to appease him, and to do things that weren't true to myself, but why not, just to keep him? Like, you know, just stupid stuff. And I feel like that's what a lot of women do. And so that's why those 3 principles that I just said is golden for a woman who is trying to get back into her feminine power. Hey, ladies, so you don't need to change your man. You can't change the shape of your man. It's just, he is what he is. And if he wants to change, he will. So ladies, you cannot change the man. You can only change your values or hurt yourself to be loved. So always put yourself first. And that's the consensus of this video, putting yourself first, not betraying yourself for anyone, but especially not no man. Okay. So we're going to go in with the powder. Now I like a real dusty look. Okay. And I like to put a little powder up here too. I like to get powdered down, y'all. Like powdered down. That I don't have the bronzer that I need. So we didn't do any contour like I really wanted to do, but that's okay because it kind of gives that soft glam look that I'm going for. I'm going for that baby doll, soft Barbie look. So of course, if you can't tell with the pink. So I go in with my little dust brush and I dust the concealer off, or not the concealer, the loose powder off. Okay. So you keep it on for a couple of seconds, but I just like to go ahead and get it off because I don't like to look too pale. Okay. So I look very, very, very pale right now, but we're going to go in with this setting spray. I like to go back over with my tinter and just hit those little spots where I put the powder, because it kind of makes my tint last a lot longer. So I go in with my brush or my beauty blender. All right, so now that we have the makeup on, I want to go in with my blush again. I'm extra, y'all. I like to be blushed down. So y'all, in closing, like I was saying, you cannot change a man. You just need to shape your own goals and values and get yourself in order and choose yourself and put yourself first at all times. And once you do that, Ari and Arionne, it shows us what happens when feminine energy is misused, completely misused. But we get the option and the choice to use it however we want to. We get to choose differently. And that's the beauty of being a human and having your own life, your own mind. You know, you get to choose. So ladies, if you're ready to stop betraying yourself, if you're ready to start owning your divine femininity, make sure you subscribe and follow me, because I will absolutely be posting more feminine energy videos, just talking about what I have experienced in my journey to feminine energy and how I feel. And so I also go in with the OS Until Dawn and just give me a little spray, because I like to be a little matte. And then I'm going to show you guys my lip combo. So I use the OS liner. Line the lips. Line those lips. Make them look nice and luscious. And so you guys know I put on this before I started putting on my lips. So my lips are nice and soft and moisturized. So I have this Smooth Whip by NYX, and I just got this. So I kind of want to try it out, but I'm also going to use it with this NYX or NYX, and it's the fortune cookie. So I'm going to put the fortune cookie on first. Okay, y'all, so this is the final look, y'all. Hair's not done, but I'm about to go put my hair together, and I am about to get out of here. But thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching me do my makeup and listening to why I believe that feminine energy is the only way that you can choose yourself first as a woman and not weaponize and perform so much for men. So please follow, subscribe, and let me know how you're feeling about this topic down below. Bye, y'all.